Joining us now, someone who knows. Trial attorney, legal analyst, Misty Maris. Please tell me.
All right, Chris, so we have 5 new civil lawsuits that were filed, and this is in addition to right now bringing the tally up to over 30. We don't know whether or not any of these civil lawsuits, which have similar allegations to what we've seen before relating to drugging and sexual abuse, whether there's going to be any overlap with the criminal case. Is there going to be a superseding indictment?
Good evening. We begin with new developments in the ongoing legal saga. As of today, 5 new civil lawsuits have been filed, pushing the total number of lawsuits against the defendant to over 30. While it's still unclear whether these lawsuits will overlap with the ongoing criminal case, there are questions about how the legal proceedings will unfold. Specifically, people are wondering if these new lawsuits could result in a superseding indictment, potentially incorporating these fresh allegations into the criminal case.
That loops in some of these new alleged victims or any of these allegations. Unclear at this point, but Diddy continues to have the criminal case, which is on its way to trial in May, in addition to all of these civil lawsuits, which he also has to defend.
The criminal trial is set to proceed in May, but alongside that, the defendant will have to defend against these numerous civil suits. One of the most notable civil cases involves a lawsuit filed by an anonymous celebrity from Los Angeles who is accusing attorney Tony Busby of civil extortion and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The plaintiff claims that the accusations made against them are false and frivolous, and that the lawsuit is an attempt to extort large sums of money.
Which brings up the lawsuit that you just raised relating to an anonymous, a John Doe, Los Angeles quote-unquote celebrity.
Now, a key point of contention is the fine line between what constitutes extortion and what is simply a pre-litigation demand letter. In this case, the plaintiff argues that the communication crossed the line when it included threats of public exposure and criminal ramifications unless a settlement was reached. The courts will need to determine whether these actions went too far.
Who is suing Tony Busby for civil extortion and intentional infliction of emotional distress, saying that he's bringing these claims for the purpose of extorting large sums of money and that the claims are false and frivolous. Now, Chris, fine line between what's extortion and a pre-litigation demand letter, a demand letter that says, hey, I'm going to file this and it's going to be public and I'm going to file a civil suit if you don't want to settle. Valid. When it goes beyond that, and here...
In another update, there's been some discussion regarding the defendant's bail hearing. The judge used coded language, implying that the defendant will have to prove certain things in order to receive bail. This has led some to draw comparisons with another case where a defendant was granted bail despite facing similar allegations. However, prosecutors in the current case argue that this situation is different. The main issue for the defendant is whether any evidence seized from their jail cell will be admissible in court. While some of that evidence was excluded, any potentially harmful conduct involving other prisoners could play a significant role in the trial.
State that, federal, the prosecutors here, that this is different than the Abercrombie and Fitch case, where the guy got out even though he had similar allegations. What do you think the chance is that Diddy gets out on bail?
That was a positive for Diddy. Also, some notes that were seized from his jail cell were excluded. The problem for him is going to be if any of that evasive conduct, using other prisoners' numbers to make phone calls or third partying in people he's not allowed to communicate with, that could really sabotage it. So depends on whether there's veracity to that.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
As we await further details, it's clear that this case continues to unfold with new legal challenges on the horizon. We'll keep you updated as more information becomes available.